Hey everybody, this is Jose. We are about to get started in just a moment. We have 30 seconds to go. As always, I wanted to welcome you to the session, but also confirm sound is good. So notice, I'm just going to highlight the key number for our chat room. Notice the key number for the chat room. It would be great if you could install, if you haven't done it yet, the Speak Up app, either for iOS or Android. And you can find that easily on your app store depending on your phone provider. And once you have it installed, in order to interact with me in a way that is anonymous, you can do it using that app, so we can have a powerful conversation while we are live. So we make the session count, meaning that it's not going to be a monologue coming from me, but actually I'm going to get your feedback, your questions, and vice versa. Okay, so make sure you input that room key on the Speak Up app, and that way we will be able to connect there. So once you do that, please send a quick hello message. Okay, so I know you're there and all is good. And as you are doing that, I will also continue with the introduction of the session. So everybody, one more time, welcome to the session. Today is December 5, 2022. My name is Jose Blasco. It's my pleasure to conduct our live CFD trading session of the year. We will come up with different formats and tools for next year, but this is the last one of 2022, so especially exciting moment. Also, I have to throw out there a very big apology, because obviously we were supposed to run the last CFD session last week, actually, and after 18 minutes, we had a technical issue with the streaming engine, and next thing you know, we're disconnected and we could not continue on that day. So I'm very sorry about that, guys, but we'll make it up with today, with hopefully a powerful session, a bunch of trades, and lots of practice. Okay, so counting on you guys to work with me, interact, be on top of things, ask questions, do not be shy. Remember, I am highlighting it one more time. The chat room key 15804. So install the Speak Up app on your phone. So while you are watching me on either your phone or your computer screen, certainly chatting on your phone with the Speak Up app would be a powerful way to be in touch. Okay, I can see as well Ifti here connected on Facebook. How are you, my friend? It's great to see you. And again, with the Speak Up app, we can also chat anonymously for the ones of you that prefer to do that. Okay, so as you know, this session is running in partnership with City Index. Always a pleasure to team up with such a company, such a fantastic CFD broker under the umbrella of the StoneX Group, the largest FCM company worldwide. So not a joke what I just said right there. And again, so great diversity of products that we can trade in the format of CFDs. Today, the goal will be to find multiple trades that correspond with different trading styles: active, less active, super active, very not active at all. So we'll look at the investing, we'll look at the active trading intraday, and everything in between. Also, we'll do that throughout a collection of markets. So we will be looking at markets like equity indices. We'll be looking at Forex, CFDs. We'll be looking at energy markets like crude oil. And if you guys feel like you would want me to run some analysis of a specific market, just throw out there your ticker symbol, and I will be more than happy to do that analysis and hopefully help you very much with your learning process, or whatever it is that where you are at in your trading. Okay, before we get started, I would like to highlight the financial disclaimer. As always, we have a financial disclaimer, and I would like you to read it carefully. It's being highlighted, so it gives you time to read it while I'm mentioning that it's right there on the upper left side of the screen. It is important information, and therefore I am counting on you all to read it completely, because I am counting on you all to take this seriously. Trading is very powerful, and while many people out there gamble or do funny things with their money, our approach is very serious. We're approaching trading professionally, and I'm counting you to do the same. Maybe you are not at a level of a professional yet, but you are on your way, and that's why you're here. Okay, so happy to help. Also, agenda for the day. We're gonna, first of all, we'll talk about the tools that we're gonna use in the session. So what is it that we need to be able to execute, plan those trades, execute, etc. So we'll get organized, and from there we'll run, as I just said, across multiple markets. And feel free to ask questions anytime. Okay, so here on the agenda it says Q&A at the end. It does not need to be at the end. Actually, it would be terrible if it's only at the end. It should be throughout the session as you have questions or suggestions, or maybe you disagree on my trade plan. I am human, my friends. Sometimes I make mistakes. Okay, so if there is anything that you identify that you would like to suggest that it should be done differently, feel free to let me know, and I'll be more than happy to listen carefully to that and rectify if any. Okay, so let's work on this together. Let's team up. Okay, and finally, before we begin with the charts, which I cannot wait, I wanted to mention this important survey. So on the screen, you have a very large QR code. I will scan the QR code and go through the survey. It's fairly short. We've been live to see it's the last session of the year, so we would like to get back. What is it to change? What is it that you like the most, etc., etc. And that way we can, keep improving into next year as we restart supporting you on your trading of CFDs. Okay. So with all of this said, I would say the session is now officially introduced, and therefore it is time for me now to begin. Okay. So one more time, I see a few people just join. I would like to highlight one more time the room key for the ones of you connecting with the session with a little bit of delay. So the room key allows you to enter the chat room, and once you are in the chat room, which ideally you would use your phone with either the iOS app or the Android app. So then once you do that, we will be able to interact very efficiently. The chat is anonymous. We can do polls. We can do all sorts of things which are lots of fun and lots of engagement, and it helps us to interact more easily. And that way it's also not public on the chat box on Facebook or YouTube or wherever is it that you're watching this live stream. So we can keep it private this way. Okay, so please install the app, and once you do, just type a quick hello so I know you are there on so room key 15880. Let's jump into charts, my friends. So what I'd like to bring to the screen is good. I see your message there. Hello, Jose. That wonderful. So the first is not this one. This is Trading View. I would like first to bring Web Trader. Okay, so what is it that we have here? So we have Web Trader, which is the City Index platform. Okay, so when you open an account with City Index, you get access to Web Trader, which is the platform that we use to either plan the trades, but definitely to execute and watch your portfolio, monitor your trade results, etc., etc. So first thing I would like to mention is the vast amount of markets that we can trade. And during the session, feel free to point at any of those markets. And I'm certainly happy to do some market analysis and some planning of the trades, even if I was not expecting a market that you may throw at me. Like, we can even do stock CFDs. So maybe you want me to look at Microsoft or Tesla, you name it. So you let me know. But basically here you have the whole list: indices, FX, equities, commodities, metals, ETF sectors, so many things. So if I look at FX, for example, notice that the currency pairs are sorted based on all markets, majors, euro crosses, pound crosses, Aussie crosses. So very well organized. So let's say you want to trade the Aussie CAD. So what you could do here is you could click on the drop-down menu, and then you click on Market 360. And the moment you do that, it's going to bring two things which are very relevant. Number one, a chart in the middle, which if you do your market analysis inside WebTrader, that's where you do it. Okay, even though I won't do it there, I'm going to use you me do that in a moment. This is TradingView, so I'm going to do that because again it's a more advanced piece of charting software that is free to use and can be connected to City Index. So I will bring that back in a moment. But basically inside WebTrader, this is where you get your charts, and then very important on the right, you get information about margin, you get information about swaps, finance charts. Do you pay to be in the trade? Do they pay you to be in the trade if you keep it more than one day? So again, there is very, the trading hours of the day. So all of that information here on the left, very handy, easy to find, and very relevant, as I said. Okay, so again, you will see me come back to this web trader later on, even though you will also see me do most of the planning, including the execution. You will see me do it on TradingView. Okay, so here's TradingView. So what's the beauty of TradingView? Well, the beauty of TradingView, I mean, to be honest, we can have a long conversation about that, isn't it? For the ones of you using TradingView, you're probably in love with it. It's a very powerful software. It can be used for free. The version I'm using of TradingView is a premium user, which allows me some extra functionalities. For example, in my case, I could get up to 8 charts on the screen, right? So these 8 charts on the screen, that's premium functionality. If you use the free version of TradingView, it's going to be 1 chart, okay? But to be honest, with the background, right, with the white background, because the one on the left is going to help me to answer the question, should I be a buyer? Should I be a seller? Is it time to go long or is it time to go short? I'm going to do that with the chart on the left with the gray background, and then the chart on the right, which is the white background chart. That one, I want to use it to define my entries and exits now that I know it's time to go long or short, thanks to the chart on the left. So I'm going to use 2 charts where each chart has a different purpose. Okay, so that's my plan, and that's why I'm using 2. And I appreciate doing it that way. Hopefully you too, and it's going to be very visual. And therefore I'm going to use TradingView. Okay. Now, apart from using TradingView, you may see here I use a collection of tools. So on the left, okay, I may need to disconnect. Give me a second here. If I disconnect this one, yeah. So that way you can see. So I am using here what's called AutoClimate. AutoClimate is the tool that allows me to understand if it's time to be a buyer or a seller. Right now, you can see is red color, so you would think of being a seller. And then on the right, I am using Auto UFOs. Okay, so you can see those little flying saucers here. Sometimes they're red, sometimes they're green. So the red ones are sell UFOs, sell on-field orders. The green ones are buy UFO, buy on-field orders. And that's how we set entries and exits. These technologies are available on our website, okay? And you can just go take a look. There are different ways on how to subscribe. AutoClimate is free, by the way, so you can use your free TradingView with your free AutoClimate. Again, plenty of tools, save you time, makes you mechanical, no emotions involved with your planning of the trades. And, again, we are doing the right thing this way, okay? Now, all of this is great, but I'm missing one thing, isn't it? You may be thinking about it, which is I have not connected TradingView to CT Index. If I do not connect TradingView to CT Index, then I could do market analysis with the charts, but I cannot do executions. So how will I do executions? Well, on the bottom part of the screen, there is a tab called Trading Panel. If I click on the Trading Panel tab, it allows me to connect with many brokers that are integrated with TradingView, including CT Index. And if I come here and I add my credentials, and I click Connect, so you will see how Trading Panel changes, and now it becomes CT Index green light. So green light means that you are connected, and if you take a trade, it goes live. Okay, so you are in live. It's a real executions, and it's connected with CT Index. So right now it's connected to our account in CT Index, meaning that if I take a trade on TradingView, it will go through CT Index, which also means that I would get to see the trade on WebTrader, but I would also get to see the trade on the CT Index mobile app, for example, if you have it installed, because in the end, while we are talking about different software, TradingView, WebTrader, mobile app, those are different pieces of software. The reality is that they are all linked to the same account. So no matter where you place the trade, it will be seen in all of those places because it's the same account. So again, hopefully all of this completes my introduction of the session when it comes to the tools I'm going to use and what is it that we need to know before I even start. So again, one more time, CT Index, many markets, CT Index market data and execution in TradingView thanks to the integration as I just did. If you're watching this recorded, just rewind, it's going to be there. And as a double check, we're gonna go ahead from time to time and move to WebTrader just to double check the trades are there, which they will be all the time, but it's just double checking. But also WebTrader will be very useful to see the whole set of markets available in CT Index, which is it's huge, but also to be able to identify characteristics. For example, let's say in front of us we have the Euro New Zealand dollar. It's a currency pair. You may be interested in knowing what are the swaps. So if I get long or I get short and I hold the trade for more than one day, I'm going to have to either pay or get paid swaps. So how much, right? So those are the finance, details that are available in WebTrader. So you will see me use all the tools because they're all needed, even though the bread and butter will be TradingView with AutoClimate and the UFOs. Good. Let's begin. So first trade of the day. Let's go for it. I'm going to start planning on a trade for long term. How do we plan on a trade for long term? We can do it in many ways, but one way I love to do is to exploit the use of swaps. So you can see here I have a watch list, which is Forex negative swap. What is my watch list Forex negative swap? For example, if I look at the Euro Pound, why do I have the Euro Pound there? Well, I have the Euro Pound there because, look, going back to WebTrader, if I look at the Euro Pound, and this, I'm giving you these details so you guys can practice this by yourself. And if you have questions, by the way, you can certainly contact me and I'll be happy to help. But again, I'm giving you a little bit of the process slowly at first, and then I will speed up. Okay, so we can plan more trades, but I want to explain it slowly one time so you can replicate that by yourself. So if I look at the Euro Pound and I look at Market 360 on WebTrader and I look at the financing charges, notice how by going short, I get paid 13 cents every 10,000 euro. Okay, which you don't need 10,000 euro because you do it on margin, so you need much less than that. But every time you got a trade where the notional value of the trade is 10,000 euro, you get 13 cents of US dollars by going short. If you go long, it's negative, which means you have to pay. So that's why I have it in my list minus swap. The minus sign means those are currency pairs for me to short only. I am not planning to go long, short only. So Euro Pound is one of them. I got fundamentals on my side to be a seller, and I get paid swaps while I stay in the trade. I would love it, but the climate here on the weekly time frame, because I'm starting with long-term investing type of style. So the climate here, while it's red, is what we call a thin dot, is not a thick one like this one here, for example. Thick means confirm, thin means unconfirmed. So I'm not going to take the trade because I do not have a statistical advantage, okay? By the way, I see more of you joining the session, guys. I am highlighting one more time the room key for the chat box. Please install the SpeakUp app and input the room key 15804 so when we can interact in the SpeakUp room more efficiently, anonymously, etc. Okay, so let's do that when you have a moment as you are entering the room. Okay, it's the second one in the list. Okay, and that one does have a confirmed climate. Okay, that one has a confirmed climate. Actually, I was planning on a trade when I got interrupted last Monday. And this red UFO was going to be my entry, and notice how it almost met entry. We would have missed this trade, by the way, but it almost went to the entry and from there just collapsed, which is telling you a lot about the climate condition, right? So why did it fall, right? Well, because the climate is down and it's confirmed. It's a thick dot. So statistically, odds are this market will move down, more likely that this market is going to move up. Okay, that's why we want to rely on the climate, at least based on how I trade myself and my trading style. So what happens today? Well, what happens today is that while we are in a position where we could plan a trade, let me adjust this properly. Something like this, good enough. So the blue line now is aligned with the EMA, okay? And therefore, what I would expect now is this currency to go back higher, more or less what the blue line is, and from there to continue falling, right? So like it happened here, it came to the EMA and from there fell, right? It came to the EMA, went a little above, and then fell. So if the climate is going to remain as it is, this is the type of price action we're expecting to see. You can see it came to the EMA, fell, right? It came to the EMA after going above. It came to the and then rallied. So as you can see, it's certainly a relevant line from a reference view, but notice how sometimes price goes through like it's not even there. And why is that? Well, because, for example, in this particular case, we have the blue line right there, but the UFO above and below, there are UFOs surrounding, there are no UFOs developing that blue line. So there is a smart mathematical calculation where the blue line is, but we don't have on-field orders to sell waiting to get filled where the blue line is. And therefore, this reduces the probability of this trade to work well. Now, before I say no to the trade, which is looking like I may say no, I want to give it another chance. Apart from looking at the daily time frame I have on the right, I also want to look at the 4-hour time frame. And guess what? We have a trade, my friends. Okay, we do have a red UFO here, which is enveloping this particular line. Okay, so we have a trade where the UFO is very large, to be honest, from 166 all the way to 170. So this is a trade with a major risk. We're talking about 400 pips of a sell zone. So for sure, it's very likely that if the Euro New Zealand comes somewhere here, either in this UFO or the one above, it's going to turn and go back lower. But where the target needs to be for this trade to make sense from a reward to risk ratio point of view is not ideal, right? So we may discard the trade unless the target is really far. Please go ahead and confirm to me on the chat box that you understand what I just said about the fact that I'm not too happy that this sell zone, this zone with the two red UFOs is very wide. I'm not very happy about that. You guys, I would rather have a zone which is a little narrower because of having any sorry, not the probability. I want to say many things at the same time, and I got kind of like in a different conversation. Not the probability, but the fact that the stop is going to be so far away is going to add plenty of risk, and therefore this trade will not justify itself unless the target was also very far. Okay, wider risk, exactly. Thank you for that on the chat box. Very nice. So let's take a look. Okay, so when I look at the weekly time frame on the left, well, for sure. So we have the green UFO, which would be my take profit, right? The green UFO is located at 148.67. So if I input this trade with the New Zealand dollar, Euro New Zealand, I just hit the wrong button. So if I input the target to be 148.67, let me make it 68, and I do my entry to be 166.78. 166.78, which is that red UFO. Okay, and I make my stop to be above that, which we said was 170 something, 170. Let's call it 170.25. Okay, so if I was to do that, we have a 5-to-1 trade. Okay, so this is great. This is great. The target is so far away that, even though the stop is also very far away, we have a 5-to-1. Okay, so that looks good to me from a reward to risk ratio point of view. If you were to risk $100 per trade, this is the amount of money that you will want to use, 4,500 euro in this trade. Okay, so let's document this properly so you guys can have all the information on the screen. So we're gonna plan on a CFD trade. Here we go. So we are planning on shorting the Euro New Zealand dollar. This is a short. We are planning to enter at 1.6678 with a stop located at 170.25 with a safety target, which I need to discuss in a moment. Okay, so we'll talk about this guy in a moment. And with a final target located at 148.68. Okay, the risk per lot, okay, per mini lot, in this case, a mini lot is 1,000. So the risk per mini lot here, 1 second. Okay, so the risk per mini lot is 21. That's the risk per mini lot. As you can see, the risk is right here in the middle, 22.21 for 1,000 units. Of course, let's say you want to risk 100, so you would go with 4,500 units. Okay, but per unit per mini lot, that is half. Okay, let me go ahead and do this. Great. So okay, so very good. So now safety target. So if I bring a calculator to the screen, okay, let me make this a bit narrower. Here we go. So we are talking about entering at 166 with a stop at 170.25. So we are talking about a risk of 347 pips, okay, which by the way, this is something that you can see here, 347, okay, it's right there. So if I take that number and I project it below my entry, which is 166.78, that's going to give me a safety target located at 163.31. So the safety target is a target located equal distance from my entry to stop. So equal distance in the opposite direction, we have the safety target. This is optional, but personally, I do appreciate this type of trade management by a lot, in the sense that you may not get to 140 because the distance of the position in both places, so you break even, right? So in other words, the moment you get to safety target, you cannot lose anymore. That's why it's called safety. So out of simplicity and just to have more time to plan more trades, I'm just going to execute the trade with no safety target. But just know that if you were to execute the trade properly, this is how you would do it. What I mean by properly is, again, based on my trading plan. So to me, it's proper. Again, you may have a different trading plan, and that's fine. Just know the benefits of what I just explained, and of course, the disadvantage is that if you end up reaching the final target, well, then you're going to make less money because you would reach the final target with half of the position because you took half out at safety, right? So that's the pros and the cons, like everything in life, okay? So anyway, so I am reviewing that the trade is in. So you can see here I got my orders there, sell limit, right? So if I was to take a look at web trader, so I'm having an issue. I'm having an error message on my computer with my GPU that seems to be causing some issue. So there may be a little bit of delay in some of the things that I do, guys. Apologize for that, but should not be that big as a deal. Okay. Okay, I'm just reviewing a couple of things here just to make sure we're not going to have any issue in the session. Okay, so let's continue. So we have the first trade in. I want to bring web trader one more time. So here's web trader. Okay, and again, I want to point one more time at the fact that if I look at the trade tab, we're going to get to see our Euro New Zealand dollar trade, which I placed using TradingView, is actually available here inside web trader. Okay, so everything is synced, and we are ready to continue. Okay, got you. So we got a trade which is a long-term one. I would love to hear from you guys on the chat box with a little bit of a confirmation that you got the trade plan, everything is understood. I'll flash it on the screen one more time, and as I get your feedback, I'm going to move into the next trade where I'm going to change market. Okay, we're going to go for something different. As I change market, we're going to go for the city index list. Okay, and I'm going to start looking at equities. We'll start with the S&P. Cool. Thanks for that. So now, when looking at the S&P, I would like to make myself a bit more active. So what I'm doing here is I am now looking at the 1-day time frame, the daily time frame of the S&P. So I'm going to check the climate this way, and then on the right I have the 4-hour time frame. So that's going to be a good beginning for me. But I want to explore looking at the 4-hour. I will also look at the 1 hour. Okay. Yes, the trade will appear in both platforms the moment you execute it. Okay. So if I show you that here on TradingView, so under orders, you have your euro New Zealand dollar trade there. Okay. And if I look, as I just did a moment ago, if I look at WebTrader, so here is your euro New Zealand dollar trade as well. And if you look at your mobile app, you will also see it there. Okay, so yes, it's all linked, it's all connected. This is really the beauty of using TradingView. You now end up with an even more powerful way on how to chart the markets. But yeah, you have it everywhere. It is one trade. You are correct. You have 3 orders, right? Because the way I placed it, I have 3 orders. I got my entry, my stop, and my target. Okay. So to be technical, to be honest, it's not a trade yet. It's orders because I have not been filled. For me to get filled, if I go back to the euro New Zealand dollar, okay. So my entry is a sell limit, okay, located here. Okay, so what do I need to happen for this trade to get filled? I need this market to go back higher, and when it gets inside this UFO, I'm gonna get triggered with that sell order. I got plenty of unfilled orders coming in. I will be trading around the EMA level at that time, and all of this together with a down climate on top of this is likely going to push the prices lower, which you will see now producing a profit, assuming all of this is true. If the trade goes against you, then the stop, which is above, will trigger and I'll get you out. But you are not filled yet. So technically speaking, it's not a trade yet. It's not a position yet. I mean, we could call it a trade if you'd like, but it's not a position. So far, it's just orders waiting to get filled. Those are limit orders. Okay, so we are waiting for the price to rally higher. So when the price is higher, trading at a better price for an entry, that's when we're gonna come in. Okay. Could you take the trade now? Yes, of course, but then your market timing would be a bit off in the sense that we don't have unfilled orders at the current price. Okay, the unfilled orders are located higher. So if you sell now, you may see the market go against you all the way until it gets to the red. So we don't want to take the trade yet. We want to let the market rally, and only when it gets to a higher price point, align with the EMA, align with the red UFOs, that's when the action would start. Anyway, so going back to the S&P, hopefully this is understood. Very good question, and thank you for that. This is again, this is what I love, guys. Okay, so this is what I need from you guys. I need some engagement there. I need some questions so I can help you better. Because if not, hopefully I'm providing content which is valuable to you, but at the same time I would just do it out of my experience, but not out of your very specific need. So do not be shy. I'm here to help. We are meeting for an hour, and this is the last session of the year. So just don't be shy. Just throw as many questions at me as you'd like, okay? And if we need to stay a little longer, I'm happy to do that too. No worries. Anyway, so CFD, S&P 500, daily time frame on the left. So instead of weekly, I am going now to daily time frames, meaning that I'm becoming a bit more active now. I'm doing this to give you diversity on the type of trades. Even though the process, the steps I follow are the same, I will give you more diversity, so then you guys can learn from these, hopefully, and then you can replicate this at your own pace, at home when you practice with your own rules, and make it work for yourself. So what do we have here? Well, the S&P is in an up climate, which is confirmed. Okay, so S&P up climate confirmed. Okay, give me a second here. I want to double check something. Okay, good. So S&P up climate and confirm. So what do I want to do? I want to be a buyer, but not at any price. I want to be a buyer around 40.30. Why? Because 40.30 is where the EMA is. And if I put my blue line here on the 4-hour time frame on the right, notice that I don't have buy orders. I got sell orders a bit higher, but I don't have green. I have red. Okay, no problem. Let's move to a 1 hour time frame and see if we do have something. And we don't. The green much lower at 39.59. So yeah, no time to buy at that price. This is a case which is probably going to look like that. Okay, where the price went through the EMA like it's not even there, went lower, hit the green UFO, and after hitting the green UFO, here we go. Okay, but it had to hit the green UFO first. And the green UFO in this case is too low. Okay, so we cannot apply in this time frame. We cannot apply the methodology. We can certainly apply it in another time frame or another market. So let's check the Nasdaq and see if the Nasdaq gives us permission to do a trade of this sort. Well, first of all, no permission, and the reason why no permission, I'll zoom in, is because the climate is non-confirmed. Notice the thin dot instead of thick. That dot is thin. So being thin, no trade. So what do? No problem. We move to the next market. Okay, of course you can change time frames too, but I will do that later. So Dow Jones Index. Okay, Dow Jones Index is allowing us to trade. The climate is confirmed. And if I was to project the EMA with a ray, so the EMA is located at 34. Okay, I need to adjust that. Give me a moment. Okay, so 34,183, something like that. Good enough? No, actually not good enough. Difficult to adjust. Okay. Nice. Okay. Our time frame, we have the same situation as the S&P. Okay. So no UFO. It doesn't either. Okay. So the US markets in the daily time frame are not providing us an opportunity for today. Maybe tomorrow. And if we look at the UK markets, for example, I'm gonna pass. Okay, because while the UK market has shown incredible strength, so statistically 31 is way more than 6, and therefore we are probably in the unsustainable stage of this market, and it's a little bit of a gamble at this point to expect it will continue without a healthy correction. So what about Germany? Germany is in an up climate. Germany is retracing into the EMA. We are actually touching the EMA now, but no green UFO on the 4-hour time frame. What about the 1-hour time frame? No green UFO. Okay, so again, equity markets, Singapore are probably looking similar. Okay, so we have up climate on the Singapore market, 296.1 is the EMA, and the EMA is located right there where the UFO is. Okay, and you may say, hey, we have a trade here. I'm not happy, guys, because the line is very, very low, and you know a moving average is called moving for a reason. As the Singapore, the STI, the Straight Times Index goes down, that line will go down and will be under the UFO instead of inside. So in the 1-hour time frame, I'm not happy. I'll give it a shot at the 4-hour. You know, equities related, so it's often the case where you find opportunities in all of them or none of them. Today seems to be none of them on the daily time frame. So before I change time frame, I'm going to look at crude oil and see if we find an opportunity on crude oil. Crude oil is a non-confirmed climate on the daily, so no trade as well. So let's look at the majors, and then I'll come back to the equities with a different time frame, and I'm very positive we're going to find a trade. But again, this is the beauty of having a rule set when you trade. There is no overthinking, there is no making up a trade, there is no forcing a trade. If the rules are met, you take the trade. If the rules are not met, you don't take the trade. My rules are, I need a confirmed climate and I need UFOs to overlap an EMA. So if I don't have that, I don't take the trade. Why? Because why would I? I have less odds. Why would I? There are many other markets and many other time frames. So I'm just going to spend a little bit extra time going to other markets or other time frames until I find my trade. So we'll do it together. So now, what do we have with the Aussie? Well, with the Aussie, we have a confirmed climate, okay, and the EMA is located at 67.51, something like that. So that's the EMA. And if we look at the 4-hour time frame, no UFO. If we look at the 1-hour time frame, yes, but I'm not happy, because look at how many green UFOs we got. So if I do my entry here, my stop needs to be all the way down here. So my dollar risk is way too large. And you know what? Earlier with an investment opportunity, I don't mind how my risk is large because I'm shooting for a very far away target. But now I'm not investing anymore. I'm basing this on a daily time frame. So I would like to find setups which are more convenient. Okay, so let's take a look. So the euro, confirm climate to the upside. Very powerful moves on the euro. Beautiful, 104.42. So let's bring it here, something like that. So this is where more or less where the euro is. That is falling inside of a UFO. What if I look at the 4-hour time frame? And the UFO is a bit lower, but to be honest, I like it better. Okay, and the reason why I like it better is because, again, a moving average is moving. So when the euro comes down towards the EMA will bend a bit, and therefore that will be seen as this line going down and be somewhere here. So I want to base my entry out of the 4-hour UFO. Okay, we have a trade here with the euro based on the 4-hour time frame, entry on based on the daily time frame climate, entry based on the 4-hour UFO. So we need to specify stop at 102, let's make it 85. Okay, and now I need to find my target, which I'm gonna do on the daily time frame, and that would be 106.11. Okay, so may not be the best trade in the world. Okay, this trade is a 1.83 to 1. So pros and cons of everything in life. If the greater the reward to risk ratio, the better, but the less likely you will get to your target, because it means the target is very far. The lesser the reward to risk ratio, the worse, but also the more likely you will reach your target. So to me, as long as you got more than one, especially because I use safety targets, right? So as long as you got more than one, I'm okay with that. Okay, so again, if I was to do a bit more research, look at the pound, look at the kiwi, we may find something better, but I would say this is good enough for me to accept, and therefore I'm going to document this trade here. So we are now looking at a euro US dollar trade with an entry located at 10400, with a stop located at 102.85, with a safety target which is going to be calculated, is going to be this is going to be 115 pips, so that's going to be 0.515, and my final target 106.11. So if we take this trade with 1,000 units, which is 1 mini lot, so the risk per mini lot, okay, or to be honest, here we have one lot. Okay, so if I was technical, so the minimum is 1,000, as you can see, right? So just want to make sure this is understood. So that would be 11.5. Okay. In my case, every time I've been taking trades in these live sessions, I've been risking 100 per trade. So those would be my parameters: entry 104, stop 102.85, target 106.11. For safety purposes, you can add a target at 105.15, right? Which is 115 pips above your entry at 104, which is the same distance you have to your stop. So I'm just gonna place the order. Okay, and the order is in. So entry, stop, and target. And I will give you a second in case you are taking a screenshot. And I will now take a look at the chat box because I see questions and I don't want to miss any. Okay, so if you're on the 4-hour, do you ignore the UFOs in the lower time frames? Yes. So what I'm trying to do is first use a little bit of a larger time frame to work on the climate, because the climate is what I call question one. Should I be a buyer or a seller? It doesn't make sense for me to look at entries and exits if I don't even know if I want to be a buyer, go long, or a seller, go short. So once I look at the climate in a larger time frame, right now I'm using 1 hour, then I drop to a lower time frame to find my entries and exits. And notice how the 4-hour time frame is less than 1 hour. If I don't find it there, then I will drop to 1 hour. But I am not gonna overanalyze because our auto UFOs technology is already doing the work when it comes to finding where the on-field orders are, which are relevant to that time frame, and therefore, I don't need to overthink. So if I didn't have a UFO here, I would also check the 1 hour time frame to see if there was another opportunity on a different time frame. But the moment I found it on the 4 hour, that's where I stop. Okay, and the reason why 4 hours is because I'm combining daily and 4 hours. Just like in the prior trade with the Euro Kiwi, I was combining weekly and daily. So I did weekly and daily. Now I do daily and 4 hours. Well, anyone guesses what I'm going to do next? Right? So now I'm going to move to climates of 4 hours. Okay, and again, I'm doing this to be diverse, so I help all of you. I would totally understand that some of you are like, you know what, I'm only trading one set of time frames. I'm only doing the weeklies. I'm only doing the 4 hours. I'm very active. I'm only doing the 1 hour, the 15 minutes. No problem. Maybe you do one style only. In the sessions when we get together, I normally go through multiple styles, multiple time frames, so that way I give examples to everyone, and you guys will take what is relevant to you and hopefully learn from the whole set of trades that we plan, even though only some of them may be relevant to you, given the fact that some of them may be too active for you or maybe too boring for you if you are not a long-term investor. Okay, but I'm trying to plan on a little bit of everything for you guys. Cool. Very, very good question. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to the Nasdaq, the S&P. Okay, because I was not able to plan on a trade earlier, but I do believe we have a trade in front of us. Let me go ahead and go back to here as well, so I can double check that I'm not missing anything. I see a few new people in the room, by the way. You may be connecting with us now. Just in case you didn't know, you didn't see it before, install the Speak Up app on your phone and input the room key 15804. So that way you will be able to be on the chat with us and interact in a way that is private instead of public. So you can do that. Okay, I'll take a sip and we continue with the next trade. Actually, I can see in front of us we have a trade, very likely we have a trade with the S&P. Okay, so I'm gonna plan on this one. Okay, so let's go for it. I see. Ifti, I'm going to read your comment here. I find it important to know where you are in the bigger picture, even when executing on the smaller timeframes. Very, very, very wise advice there coming from Ifti. Thanks for that, my friend. Definitely. Just trading just because without understanding, what we often call the big picture, right? Understanding what's likely, how much room you have for price to move. So without understanding all of those parameters, I'm just planning a trade, maybe just a bit too hopeful, and then it leads to disappointment because maybe there was no room for movement, okay, and no space, or maybe it was too late, right? So again, great one. So now we're gonna be working on the left with the 4 hour time frame, and on the right I'm gonna go for either 1 hour or 15 minutes. Okay, so we did weekly, daily, we did daily 4 hours. Now I'm doing 4 hour, 1 hour. Okay, we're going down. Okay, we're going down. We are becoming more active, lower time frames. So the S&P here, 4061.9. Here we go. So this is more or less the location of the EMA. Okay, and notice that is lining up perfectly with that red UFO. So if the S&P rallies, comes to here, the expectation would be that we would see it fall. Why? Because it's reacting to the on-field orders, but you can also see here the blue line, which coincides exactly with the red line, meaning that this EMA is exactly in line with where the on-fielders are. And by the way, I didn't say it. I should, to be honest. It's just muscle memory, and sometimes I assume certain things because I do that, and it's muscle memory. So the climate is red and confirmed. I didn't say it, but I saw it. So anyway, so that's the beginning, right? So on the 4-hour time frame, the climate is confirmed to the downside, and we have an EMA. If we go for this trade, where is the target going? The UFOs or time frame? So the target should be 3,810.1. And guess what? This is one of those cases where I'm gonna be like, okay, yeah, great. Why? Because we are planning on potentially a day trade, and if you look at the size, the distance between the red to the green, I mean, could we get there in one day? Of course we can. But is it likely? No. It's probably going to be a multiple day trade, right? So again, as a day trader, and maybe it's just my style, when I plan on day trading, I normally like to be in and out during the day, or I mean, if it takes a day and a half, it's fine. Many of the markets that we trade are 24 hours, 23 hours, 22 hours per day. So the S&P is 23 hours a day. So it's okay to close the market for an hour, but you can also have a gap against you, and being on margin, that's not fun. So I prefer to be out before the end of the day, and that is a target which is very unlikely given how far it is. Okay, so when a target is very unlikely, so what I like to do then is to substitute the UFOs and use a Bollinger Band. In this case, 39.84.6. Okay, it's a statistical target that could be met during the day, and that would be how I'm going to set my target, just to make sure I'm out ideally during the day, and I don't need to go through a market close, which may imply then I have a gap against me. So 39.85, I'm just running it up, okay, instead of 39.84.5, okay, which is this one. Okay, I'm just running it up to 39.85, and my entry is going to be 40.63.1 with a stop located above 40.68 point, let's call it 7, something like that, just to give myself a bit of extra room. Okay, so if I plan to reach 100, I'm like, this cannot be, of course, I was clicking on buy instead of sell, my bad. So 40.63, that's correct. 40.68.7, 39.85, correct. So that's a 13-1. Still, this trade is unbelievable. It's an amazing trade. Okay, so you are risking $100 to make 1,390. Could it happen? Yes. But remember, the further away your target is, the less likely is that you're going to make that profit. Okay, so again, the use of safety targets is certainly a tool that helps a lot mitigating the problems when a market goes your way and then goes against you. For sure, you can also work on trailing your stop and things of that sort. But again, I will plan the trade the way I have planned before, and then you will decide how to manage it, because I'm pretty positive you guys may have your management rules, isn't it? So let me input all of this, and then I'll take a look at the chat. So 40.63.1 is the entry, 40.68.7 is the stop. Safety target, I'm going to calculate that in a moment. And the final target is 39.85. 39.85. I'm not sure why we got a 1 there. Okay, now. Okay, good. So if I bring back my calculator, which it looks like I have closed. Okay, so I see the chat box, no questions so far. Not to be shy. Okay, so we are talking about 40.68.7 is the stop, 40.63.1 is the entry. Okay, my keyboard is set wrongly, so let me do this again. 40.63.1 minus 40.68.7. So we are risking 5.6. Again, I'm doing it manually so you see how it's done, but you can also see that same 5.6 right here. Okay, it's right there. So we are risking 5.6, and if I was to take that 5.6 and I want to project it below the entry, which is 40.63.1, that would tell me that my safety target is 40.57.5. Okay, so getting there should be quite doable, and the moment you get there, no risk on the trade. Again, for simplicity purposes, as I explained before, I'm going to take this trade without the safety target, and I also want to indicate before I take the trade that the risk per unit is 5.60, as you can see. So if I use 1 unit, it's 5.6. Okay, but if I want to risk, let's say $100, which is what I do on the sessions, okay, and whatever value depending on your well, TradingView runs it to what's possible. In this case is 99.12, right? And that's going to be 17.8. Okay, that's going to be 17.8. So I'm going to go with that. So the trade has been placed. Okay, and you can see how 40.58.6 is right here. The entry is 40.63.1. So I just need the S&P to rally a bit more, and we are going to be in the trade. Cool. So we got 4 minutes left. Okay. Let me see questions here. This may take us to the end of the session. Okay. So let's do this. Since we only got 4 minutes left, you guys, any questions you may have, this is the time for you to input. So I'll go over questions, and then we will call it a day. Okay. Hopefully we get filled before that. We need the S&P to rally a bit more. It's trading at 59 now, 58. Okay, come up. We need you to go to 63 so you can be in the trade. Please, Mr. S&P, do that. Do you guys talk to the markets as well? I do. Anyway, question. To reach a safety target, is it half? A lot. It's half of your position. So in my case, my position here is 17.8. And by the way, on TradingView, another reason why TradingView is so cool. Okay, you can see your position here, 17.8. That's the size. So half, that's the amount that you need to unload the moment you get to 40.57.5, which is the safety target. Half of the position. Because again, if you unload half of your position, you're going to make half of the profit. And if you end up being stopped out with the other half, you're going to get a loss, which is equal to the profit you made when you got to the safety. So let's say you make 200 and you lose 200. So you get you a risk as soon as possible. So then if you do a target, congratulations. But if you end up stopped out, you don't get pain. Okay, that's the purpose of the safety target. So same distance from entry to stop, projected in the opposite direction, that's the safety target. And from a size point of view, you need to unload half of the size. Okay? Cool. So, great question. I am looking at the chat box. No more questions so far. I guess that's good. I guess that's it. That means that you have no questions. So I guess the explanation was clear and it was well understood. But in any case, just for my peace of mind, if you don't mind, everyone, if all is good, type on the chat box, good, okay, something like that. So I know everybody is good, everybody benefited from today's session. If there is any pending question, this is your time because we got 1 minute to go. So please go ahead, let me know. Or if you have any generic feedback, apart from the survey, and to be honest, this is a great time now to bring the survey back. So apart from the survey that you can see here on the screen, if you scan the QR code, apart from that, certainly if you want to mention to me now on the chat box, remember the chat box is private, isn't it? So if you want to mention anything to me, things that you like, things that you didn't like, things that you need, things that you would want to see change, whatever it is, please let me know here on the chat box, and I will certainly make a note of it, because again, this is the last session of the year for the ones of you that join later. and your survey. It's very important, so we can continue improving what we do, so we can help you better. We need to know more about what's going on your end, so we can help you better from our end. So please speak up. Make sure you share. Do not be shy. As I always say, we're here to help, and we mean it. So counting on you, my friends. Very good. Yeah, it seems that everything is understood out there. Thank you for that, guys. It seems that all is understood, and therefore I'm just going to call it a day, my friends. It's been a pleasure to run a collection of CFD sessions for a few months now. And again, concluding this one. So if you only trade CFDs and you don't trade other markets, I guess I will see you next year. So even though it's very early, maybe I'm the first one of all to wish you Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and all of those things. If you only trade CFDs and I won't see you until next year, I guess it's fair enough for me to say. If you trade other markets, of course, we are running other sessions as well live. So you feel free to join myself or the rest of the team when we are live in the sessions. And I will see you there, okay? And even if you only trade CFDs, maybe it's going to be beneficial to you to see us trade futures, to see us trade options. Again, maybe you want to take a peek. It's always good to the more you know, the better, right? So anyway, Merry Christmas, everyone. Happy New Year. Yes, I'm sure I'm the first one to wish you that. But again, great pleasure to be here for you guys, and thank you for joining me. I want to say thank you as well to City Index for this fantastic partnership that we have and supporting the sessions and supporting you all guys as well. So great being part of this. Thank you very much, City Index. And a special thank you to you all for being part of the sessions. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.